Coming live from Sudbury, Ontario, Canada is our guest. Special edition of the Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through the industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Robert Esmie, Olympian speaker and trainer of elite. Show, Robert.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me on. I'm looking forward to having a great conversation with you today.
Thank you. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India. And forget there is a bit of a technical problem, some internet problem, and you are you yourself a tech industry founder. So you know about this thing. We can do nothing about it at the moment. So let's go with the flow. Let's just run with the show. Okay.
Excellent.
So first,
let's put on the seatbelt.
Right. So right now, Robert, let's start it this way. When you look back, what do you recall? Gold medal?
I'm looking back at my competitors reading the back of my shirt. Just got whooped. Looking back, built a beautiful blueprint career. As a child, the vision was to become an Olympic champion, a businessman, and a father. I was very fortunate over the first 25 years to be that Olympian. You have to be selfish, in a sense, to be able to go after your dreams. You have to make sacrifices along the way and to attain such bold vision and bold dreams. I remember when I started, I said you have to do 10,000 hours of everything to be able to consider becoming an Olympian. But for me, the fascination of speed was part of my DNA that was embedded with me, coming from the roots of Jamaica, the land of the speed demons. So I was always fascinated of speed, watching some of my idols, Carl Lewis, Ben Johnson, the 88 era, these guys in Seoul, Korea, the muscles shining, all that stuff, the crowd. I'm like, wow, I think one day I can be one of those guys that can entertain the world and stop people for a moment to say, hey, these guys are doing unbelievable things. And to be, am I one of the best person on the planet out of 6 billion people? Those are some of the things I was looking at, I wanted to accomplish in my athletic career.
Right. You are only talking about accomplishments. You don't want to tell about the tears. You must, those were not easy days. How did you even your, if I'm correct, even your gold medal it was stolen?
That's right. There's tears along the way. I remember the first, week that I started training to start preparing for the Olympics, like the goal of one day I want to get Olympics. I remember I went to practice and the coach worked me so hard. I think I was so sore. I pretty much crawled home, and I had a wonderful mom. She had a bubble bath waiting for me on my hot chocolate because she knows that, her son had a rough day at the practice. I call it the office. That's my office, right? So I got home. It was rough. The whole week was rough. I do a lot of cries and tears at the end of the season when I started up training again. Like the body's out of shape, throwing up and the pain. Those are not fun type of days. Those are crying days. And, I made my first senior team and I cried like a baby putting on my uniform. I was so proud because as a junior athlete being ranked one of the top 2 in the world, I was never able to compete as a junior. So when I made my first senior team and I get to put on my uniform, I felt like Superman putting on the armor. I'm going to go represent my country. The emotions came all over. Those were the happy cries, the happy tears of joy. And then the heartbreak ones, car accidents, injuries. Sometimes the dream was dangling, you're frustrated. Those are the moments I don't like, but going through some of those tears, I think allows me to grow within myself to become better for when the moment counts, right? The right time. I'm the right time type of guy. I show up at the right time, the right place. So and those are the happy tears. But I'd rather have happy tears than the sad ones. But you have to have some of the sads to have the good.
Right, right. But people don't see that most of the time. It's only when you are on the podium holding the medal, holding the trophy, it is only what people want to see. They see only what they see, but there is a story behind that.
Absolutely.
Now,
That comes with
yes,
marketing too, eh? They only see the finished product just like the movie, right? They don't see the cuts, the takes, the loops. And that's, as athletes, we go through the back end, and we need that camera to come into the athlete's world and show the human side, the difficulties, the challenges, because majority of the people see the finished product, just like you go into the theater. And that is why I work so hard, because when you come to the track or the stadium, you're spending money. I must be able to put on a show. You're coming for entertainment, performance, engagement, all of that stuff. It's my responsibility to give you your money's worth. I said, I want to take that guy home and have dinner or have a good time, because guess what? The man came, he put all his work together, he showed us, and he displayed to the world, and it shows all the work that you put in. This is the moment. This is your Oscar. This is your prime time. Unveil it to the people and let them know you've put a lot of work to come here to show it, to make it look easy.
right, right. What was your prime time, or is your prime time yet to come?
I think one of them is the 1996 Olympics, because that was the vision. I wanted an Olympic gold medal. But I think the best part is still yet to be written. And that's where we come in with the legacy. What do I want to leave behind in case I leave this world? And when we put it all together, I've always enjoyed helping people. It's part of my DNA. It's part of my values growing up. And to be able to partner with Critiq and the Critiq family, to be able to leave a legacy such as personalized feedback to people around the world, picking experts' brains, getting users who need some help, because I definitely could have used some as a child, and I definitely use some now as an adult, because there's areas where I'm not an expert and I need to learn and grow. And to have a platform like this to leave as a legacy, to change the world going forward, I think that will be my crowning moment, even bigger than my Olympic gold medal, to be able to leave that legacy to the world.
Right, right, Robert. Now let's look at life. After the gold medal,
Yeah.
you were a sprinter, you were a speed doctor. How did you take life? How was life like when suddenly everything, all the noise in the background, the people cheering for you, suddenly it stops after some time?
That's right.
And then most of the time, you are alone. How did the speed doctor come to terms with life when it was a bit static than earlier days and start building it up? A lot of people who achieve success early on or at whatever, then afterwards they don't know how to deal with. Why I ask is that you are the perfect person who can tell about building things when things are not good and when you achieve, and then you still need to come back down from the podium and be a part of the crowd. How did you build your life beyond that till you have come down to this thing called Critiq? We'll want to understand your mindset, the way you saw life, the way it was on the ground, out of the coming down from the podium, and then walking like a common man.
That's a loaded question, a brilliant question. It's like Rumble in the Jungle, the boxing match. But, when you look at the Olympics and different things, if you win, right, it puts you in a situation of financial better place. When you don't win the individual medal, right, even if I win anything, a bronze or whatever, if I'm in India, I'm like a king, a god over there. The rest of the world, Canada, they don't care in a sense, right? So you got to go out and you got to remix and put things together. But for me, because I mentioned earlier in the show, my vision was to have three things in my life. As an Olympic athlete, that was removed, right? The next thing was to be a businessman, to transition myself back into the world. So I went from athletic superness, in a sense, back into the business world. At the time, I didn't have a degree. So I started at the bottom of the food chain. And I don't mind, because I always felt like any job I took is for education. It's to learn something, and I can take that job once I got enough information that I wanted to move into a different area to grow. So it's always growing. So I always looked at, in the business world, opportunities to grow. I don't look at it as failure, and I always say put me at the bottom, because I want to learn the foundation. Right? I tell people I can go clean a toilet. I'm okay with that. Right? I can go and do different things that the regular, what they call it, people shouldn't do at my status. I don't care about that. I care about getting the right information, getting the temperature of the company, getting the temperature of the staff, and build that way. I've always seen myself as a leader and a businessman, but at the end of the day, great leaders go on the bottom floor and work from the bottom floor and work their way up, so they can understand their full company when they're really ready to take over that company. That's how I view things, right? Just as an athlete, I have to start at the bottom and get some butt whooping, right? And build up to be able to control my own destiny. So I view that it's an opportunity for me to continue to learn and grow, get mentorship, get feedbacks, so I can be greater at different roles that I play throughout my life. And I want to do the same thing as a father. I want to be the best father. There's no other father out there should beat me as the #1 father. I have to be proactive. So jobs I took, different things I involved with business-wise revolve around my family. I have to be at home at a certain time. I have to make sure my kids and stuff have daddy family time throughout the week. I have one-on-one with my son, one-on-one with my daughter. These are the things that's more important to me. If I should die, I have no regrets that I'm living my dreams, my way, my visions is to make sure a work-life balance, right? So yes, I could take more money doing other things, but that's not going to bring me enough joy. The enough joy is when I look at my kids and I enjoy and we play. I go watch the sports events. I'm there in person, engaging, cheering, being the biggest fan, right? And empowering them. That's to me is success. But overall, you are right. The road is not easy, especially when you look at, I would say probably in North America, 80% or 90% of athletes has to go through financial difficulties and adapting and moving. I wish it was a little bit easier in this side of the world where we have the financial backing to make it smooth. But no, I roll up my sleeve and I lock down knowing that, I did track and field for the love, not for the money. If it was for money, I definitely would have done other sports. I ran like a 3.7 and a 40-yard dash. I would have definitely went NFL and get paid. But I did it for the love of it and to represent my country. So, but knowing that when I left the athletic world, I'm still going to go put in work in the business sector to pay my bills and all that stuff. And then once I'm transitioned there, it's to move over into build something that's sustainable. And at the end of the day, if it does well, then I might be financially secure. But I didn't come into this world knowing that I'm going to have a financial legacy. I just want to make sure I create a great family, put things in place to have a legacy later on that can change the world, and to be an Olympian. Those were my 3 main goals as a child growing up. And I'm blessed to be on that pathway still.
Right. Being an Olympian, being a businessman, and being a good family man, a good husband, a good father.
Yeah.
These were your...
But yes.
Now, you knew about these things. This is what you wanted.
Yes.
What would you tell a lot of people who want to achieve big things, but how do they build up that mental discipline and physical discipline? What is most important? What would you like to tell them? What do you consider they should focus on? Mental discipline, physical discipline, if they have, maybe not Olympics, but living life today is not less than even Olympics.
Yeah.
It's with so much of disturbance, so much of, a lot of hindrances in your mental makeup and toxicity around, even in workplaces. How does a youngster who is listening to this show learn from you? What would you tell them in terms of mental discipline, physical discipline?
Great question. There's few, I guess, analogies and system that I have in place, but the one that I will share with the audience that's, and you know, is majority for everyone. I call it the 5F, right? And I always start with the faith. I always say to my athletes and others, it doesn't matter what your faith is. The most important that you have some kind of faith, right? The faith is allow the mental piece of what's happening and the calmness, right? The faith is the foundation and that spiritual, knowing that the guidance, in a sense, the sixth sense. So with the faith piece, we need to move into fear. You have to find out what is the motivational factor allowing you to want to do what you want to do. If it could be, hey, I have to make sure there's roof over my head. That is a motivational factor for you to go to work, or to feed my family, or to be an Olympian, or not to lose, or whatever that I guess, you know, the fear or the motivational factor we need to figure out. So once we figure that out, we need to move into the third F, which is favors. We all need favors: mentorship, encouragement, guidance, support system. That is the favor. Oh, you know what? I need some help with this today, or I need some help with this month. It's okay as leaders and visionaries, anyone. We need help at times in our lives. Don't think you're in a certain place where you can't ask for help. There's help always around you. It's just to be able to open your mouth and say, hey, I need some help. It's that simple. I need some help. And the favors will come back and forth, right? After that, we need to get into the 4F, the focus. Because now the faith is there. The motivational factor is there. The favor is there. Or I might need help me with a job or whatever, get a job. The focus now is to be able to attain what you need to put together. So having a plan and having a focus and making sure I have my eyes on the prize where I need to get to, right? And the fifth one, where some people find themselves, is the frustration. Sometimes it's your own that caused it, or sometimes it's out of your control. But when you're in that area of frustration, and once again, you have to go back to where? The faith and the guiding and replanning to get back to where you need to be focused. And sometimes one gets in the area of frustration. In a sense, in my spiritual world, is you need to humble yourself, or you need to relook or regroup, right? To go back to the plan. And I call it the quiet and the storm before the quiet, right? You need to go back to that faith, that foundation, and that base of your belief, and replan back out. So I'd like to leave with the audience the 5F: faith, fear, favor, focus, and frustration. I use that throughout my life to guide me in a lot of the decisions I do, and it hasn't steered me wrong once, right? Even when I'm going through some frustration, I use that to calm me, find my mental peace, and regroup. Because especially now, the mental health is a huge component, right? And it's important for myself. My energy system is based on energy, personality, and positivity. Anything that's not positive, I try to remove out of my way, because now it drains my natural energy and emotion. So I always try to fuel down that path for work, for family, for balance. It's that energy system that flows me, right? And I have to make sure that's always intact.
Right, Robert. But was it always like this, even when you were, say, 20, 25 years old? Was it always like that? Or you have learned about all these things along the way?
Majority of it's always like that. But I've came up with, I think in 97, where the 5F, where I've come into my own and grow in that side. In a performance level, you know, after the Olympics, I've come into a quote that embodies everything. Performance, it's the ability when your mind, your body, and soul rise for that one moment for performance. And I've learned that after the Olympics, the heartbreak, the different things that led up to there, that moment is the most important. But for that moment to happen mentally, right? Your mind, your soul, and your body have to be there at one moment to maximize all the potentials, right? And those are part of growth. And even then, mentorship is constantly there. So yeah, mind, body, and soul to rise at that moment. So those are the two big lessons I've learned out of my life and growth, and enhance on the base foundation that was given to me by my family.
Right, right, Robert. You decided to be an Olympian at a very early age.
Yeah.
A lot of people set their goals at a very early age, whether about a medal, whether about life.
Yeah.
Suppose what would have happened if you did not win an Olympic gold? What would have been your reaction? What would you do at that point in time? Would you seek refuge in negativity or positivity? Why I asked this is that a lot of people decide about their own Olympics in life
Yeah.
and
That's
want
right.
to achieve that gold.
Mm-hmm.
Many of them do not. How the question I want to understand this mindset thing that you answer, because you are a motivational speaker, you also train athletes, and many a times life may give you everything that you have or you
Yeah.
want, but not the thing that you decided and you are living for. How do you live or deal with such a situation? Because it is happening in today's time a lot more. That is where the mental toughness is. I want to hear an answer for you. My sense does not make any sense here. You make better sense here.
AJ, you're a brilliant interviewer. Like, you're coming up with the deepest, best question. I'm telling you, man, you belong to the world and the global stage the way you ask great questions. For me, the mental piece, it goes back to the foundation, right? The foundation of the mental strength. If I never wavered or think anything but that gold medal, but knowing the potential that something could still happen out of my control is still there. And even in a lot of the things that I do now, there's certain things I can't control, and I teach that to my athlete the other day. We're at the track, and I said, listen, I'm training you not to be a track and field sprinter. I'm training you to be mentally strong, because during those times, it's not the physical component, it's a mental. 70-80% all has to be mental. I send them YouTube, a motivational mindset. I build the mental piece to make them strong. If that didn't happen to me athletically, there's more than one way to get to your destination, folks. More than one way to get to your destination, right? It's important for me to look at the different path. Athletically, I want to be able to do that myself. If something should have happened where I didn't attain that, I have to go back, pivot, and go back to my faith and say, well, I've run out of time. It wasn't happening. What can I do now? Because the end goal was to be an Olympic gold medal somehow. So I could come back and try a different sport where I can utilize the base talent to convert into something else, which I could have done other sports to bobsled, the speed, the power, and transition and try to attain that. Or I can say, you know what? I've got a lot of passion, a lot of knowledge. Let me see if I can pour it into an athlete who's as passionate as I, dedicated as I, and maybe more talented than I was, and get them to the Olympics. And that could be an Olympic gold medal coach, or work with the organization and be at that level. Maybe I give out an Olympic gold medal to someone else. But there's many different paths to get to your destination in that global sense. So once you know exactly what you want, allow yourself to open up different roads to potentially get there. Because there's going to be things that's going to happen where you have to pivot, move through like an agility to get back to your final destination. So that was, and because I learned that at an early age, I've learned to be able to be flexible, adaptable, but knowing that I remember where my end goals are, right? To get there. So it's very important that we do that throughout our life. Yes, we have a goal and an idea, but there's going to be path and there's going to be obstacles that allow that you may not be able to change. And the SWOT analysis in business, same thing. So I use that same concept for other areas when I'm doing long-term planning, right? Knowing what are the threats, the weaknesses, opportunities, different things, and I put them all together. And if it comes, I've already mentally, emotionally prepared what could happen and come up with a plan how I'm going to get around that. And sometimes it means pausing for a period of time, and then regroup to get back there. Or it may ask some favors to get back on board. The 5F, see? It intertwined. But no, those are brilliant. Those are brilliant questions, man. I'm loving it.
No, you are welcome. You are welcome. You are the way you are. I am the way you are. And that's why we are having such a good conversation, Robert.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you one thing. You have that athletic mindset, that perseverance, that dedication, running towards your goal, the speed doctor.
Yeah.
Second is you are also a businessman. Yeah. Again, moving towards your goal. There are problems in between, but you are moving towards your goal. Yeah. When you are an athlete, when you have that athletic mindset, and when you are an entrepreneur, you are walking towards your goal.
Yeah.
The most important people are your companions. A man is known by the company he keeps. A man is the sum total of people around him.
Yeah.
How do you choose the right companion or the right mentors or the right friends or the right tools, whatever you may call it, so that you achieve your goals, who help you move towards your goal rather than, strangle you on the path itself just for their petty gains? How did you do? What would you tell a lot of people who are struggling with finding the right partners, right companions, or right whatever it is to achieve the goals of their life?
Once again, another loaded question. As I tell my kids and my neighbors, you don't have an option who you choose as parents, but you should be damn lucky you have such great parents who understand and love you unconditionally. My neighbors, they love me. We do things. I even have meet your neighbors barbecue, where some of these neighbors, 20 years, they don't even talk to each other till I run this barbecue thing. And they're like, this person is the best person of all time. I go into the business world and I use the same formula. And when I'm building teams, I said, here's the goal. Find out what are the strengths, weakness, and opportunities. And I know my strength and weakness. I know theirs. And I said, okay, this is what we have. I want to be the best. Let me allow you to empower you to bring the best out of you, which allow to help me empower to learn and bring the best out of me. So if we do that collectively for the goal of, I want to win because I don't like to lose, right? Let's become the best of what we do. And with that in formula, I've always been successful in the business side of developing teams and putting them together. With my new team at Critiq, we're the best of what we do. We've got Bernie, one of the best in the business on the development, Nico, the best in the tech side, Angel, Rachel. So we hired Lisa, the CEO, and myself. We're the best of what we do. Collectively, we say, okay, we have the same values and the mindset where we want to help and change the world. So that is our base foundation. How are we going to bring our expertise together, right, to share to the rest of the world? We want to bring the best of the best, the passion, the desire, the will to make, to improve, and to develop. Now, can we do this on a global stage? Can we bring in others that share the vision and share what we see to share with the world? Yes. And with that, we go on task and we trust each other. We're held accountable for each other and ourselves. We do follow-ups, feedbacks, open for feedbacks to improve. It's not to, in a sense, to everything that we do is to develop you and to make you better, in a sense. So collectively, if we're all on that same page for that open and growth and development, we're going to be in the right direction. So those are the same formula that we use throughout life, business, personal, is to make sure that piece is there. The passion, the desire, the focus, the vision, the constant feedback, critiquing to make us improve in all aspects of our life. And if you put that around you, you will always get a successful team, and that's engaging and doing big things. You want to make sure you're passionate about what you do. If not, go do something else, because you're not going to get that growth. There's going to be blockage in that success process.
Right. Now, Robert, let's look at, again, the gold medal, the athlete mindset, as well as the business mindset. As an athlete, you are your mind is trained to just run towards the target
Yeah.
at a very high speed, whether it is 100 meters or 400 meters relay race. In business, you have a goal, and generally people say one step at a time. From a relay, a person who is a speed doctor, to a person who is in business, one step at a time, because if you run, you might crash. How gears? How did you change? Create that mindset from the speed doctor to somebody who is actually moving towards things step by step. What would you tell people about deciding the pace at which they should move towards their goals?
There's a great scientist, I believe it's Einstein. Once in motion, wants to stay in motion. But we also have to factor in there's other elements, business track, and the force that can propel things up a lot quicker. The most important athletically in business, we've got a plan. So there's a starting line. We need to start somewhere. And there's a finish line, period. The missing factor that we have to figure is how do we get there, right? Effectively, having the blueprint. So the lines are parallel to each other in a sense, but also the same. So once they come out the blocks and the force and the energy coming out, and depends how you can come out weak or you can come out strong. If you come out strong and effective and be precise at each movement, it can propel faster and a quicker momentum. And once you're in flight, how do we stay in flight and continue the growth and development to get to the finish line first, to win the goal? Business, same thing. You set the tone, you set the foundation, you do everything together to launch the business, say Critiq. Once it launched and the momentum picks up, you got to double down and ride the wave with those sales and different things. So now all of a sudden you're going maybe from 1,000, 10,000 the next day, 100,000, which you want to get, and riding the wave of the most active category. Once we're there, right? How do we sustain that growth? Because the same growth you're going to get the first maybe 6 months is not going to be the same growth in a year or 3 years. So you still have to celebrate the little successes in those flight stage. It may not be 100%, maybe 10%, right? But you have to celebrate that and continue towards the end goal of your vision of this company, right? So it's similar. All I'm doing is I'm just taking the athletic piece and moving it over to the business piece and add all those components and watch that process. But the most important, lock in your seatbelt and enjoy the ride, right? Because yes, sometimes it's not going to be smooth, right? But once you get the momentum, woo, it's the sweetest thing in the world, right? And I'm really enjoying, the Critiq side and watching the lives that we're changing, the testimonial that's coming in, right? And we haven't promoted it yet. We're just in the stage of finishing up some financing to start promoting and advertising and educating the world. But the sample size that we've been getting, it's beautiful. And the repeat customers, which we vision, somebody's going to maybe come back once or twice, but to see they're coming back 5 times and continue developing because they want to improve. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be worldwide. This is going to be the biggest thing in the next 3 years globally. It's changing the whole education and learning, the way people learn. Because yes, they're going to learn from YouTube. Yes, they're going to learn from other areas. But one thing they don't have is a personalized feedback from experts. It's like sitting right there and going through everything and sending it right back to them. It's a brilliant thing. Oh, you just don't know. Try it. Yeah.
Right, Robert. Now you in athletics, you are your own leader, especially if it's a relay race. Now you are a team leader. You own the company. You are a co-founder now.
Yeah.
In athletics, and especially in a relay race, that everybody has to win for everybody to win.
Yeah.
Each one has to win in their own manner, and then the team wins,
Yeah.
you win.
Yeah.
Or otherwise, you don't win.
Yeah.
In business, nowadays there is this leadership problem.
Yeah.
The great resignation, quiet quitting. Leaders, you say enjoy the ride. Everybody is riding the same train.
Yeah.
But a lot of leaders want to just be that one in the front seat. They want to be in the front seat, but don't want to take everybody along. They just want to tell we are all together, but
Yeah.
actually it's not.
Yeah. It's a
And
self.
so, and so nobody wins.
Yeah.
And there is this problem about job losses, about toxicity in workplaces, the great resignation, a lot of things.
Yeah.
What would you tell a lot of leaders? You are a motivator yourself, and especially an elite athletes trainer. What would you tell leaders about leadership, about how to win together?
There's many different leaders, by the way. So let's clear that out. I feel personally that remove the money off the table. Yes, that's part of that, right? Business, we need to make money and stuff. So we understand that piece. But come in and remove that. When you put together a team, and our team, it's about respecting each other. Athletic, like my athletic team, we have challenges. Our athletic gold medal team. We've been 6 years together where we're undefeated. But there's challenges with different personalities, different things happening. But guess what? When we come together for that 10 days on the track before the relay, we left our baggage and our egos for each other on the shelf because we're here for that gold medal. After, we don't care. You don't have to call me. I don't have to see you. But we're here for one thing only. The great thing that I like about the business here, we love each other at work. we enjoy watching them doing the best in their areas of expertise, the trust factor, knowing that you're the best. I wanted to bring that. If you're not doing well that day, reach out. We're going to help you. We help each other. We motivate each other. So if you're putting together a team, I would say remove the money aspect of it and empower and develop your team. I think a great leader helps and empower the team to be better. And by them doing better and feeling empowered and loved and appreciated and valued, you get the best out of them. And they will go back for you. They will do anything for you. In a sense, they'll die for you. They'll take a bullet for you. And knowing that they know that you would take a bullet for them as well, that makes a phenomenal, non-stop, movable train success from bottom to top. And it doesn't matter. You got to have to respect the first person, the new person that comes in, and develop them in a sense. And I always feel like as a leader, you should always train everyone to replace you in their job except for 10%. 10%, that means they can't get rid of you because you know just a little bit more. But you teach them at least 90% because if something should happen to you, you know there's someone there that can take over and continue your legacy. So I do the same thing no matter what I do. I only give them 90% and keep 10% to myself. And that's me. That 10% is that little extra of me that they don't have, right? But at least the 90%, I know they can be very successful with it, right? So I think that's what great leaders do.
Right. Now let's come down to Critiq. Tell us what exactly we have talked about Critiq during the conversation, but purely from a starting point of view for the audience, what exactly is Critiq? What they can do with Critiq, how they can benefit from it, how they can engage with you on about Critiq, how can they make their life better with Critiq? The best sort of feedback that one can get.
AJ, you made a perfect statement. How they can get better. That's what Critiq is about. So when we started Critiq, and the vision of Critiq was we wanted to be able to help others globally. Because I grew up in a small town, I needed some mentorship. I needed some help. There's nowhere to find an expert that could help me. I coached myself to an Olympic gold medal, but I guarantee if I had a coach in the last year, I probably would change my mindset. I want a world record with it, right? I would have taken to that next level. And then I would have cut out a lot of the heartaches, the pain that goes with learning and developing. So we wanted to create a space where it's a personalized virtual feedback platform where we can have experts who we know are busy, can give us 2 minutes of the time or 3 minutes of the time. And when connecting with CEOs and different people and athletes all over the globe, they're very busy, you know. But they say, hey, Robert, I have 10 minutes a month I can give you. I said, perfect. I like to pick your brains. That critique may take that expert because they're reacting to a content that you upload as a user to that, right? The knowledge and expertise. So they're reacting to that. So they don't have to build things. The media goes to them. So they go in and they break it down and they tap on the screen and like this and say, hey, I'm, Sam Cassell from the NBA. Let's take a look at your jump shot. They pinch and zoom the app, mark it up, send it back, leave you a nice message. Keep up the great work. I love the footwork here. Next time, move over here, do a little bit, and send it back to you. That thing that they do, you've probably been practicing that for at least, in an Olympic world, we say 10,000 times. And if it's wrong, it's going to be wrong no matter what. But you have someone coming in as an expert and look at that and say, hey, that can change the trajectory of where you go and how you develop. Right? So to be able to have a second eye, if you want to work on something, to look at that. And we all category, we wanted to touch into, we do video, PDF, audio, name it. Anything visual, seeable, we can do it all. So we're able to add pitch deck specialists. You want to pitch an idea for business, you upload to then PDF file of your page or whatever the expert request that you do. They go in to break it down. That pitch may have cost you anywhere $100 to $500, but you want to go in and get a raise with that pitch deck. That pitch deck, you might be trying to get $2 million. That feedback that expert gives you is a foot in the door to get closer to that $2 million. Because if you end up doing it yourself and the person says, no, right? And just to be able to have an expert who's been in that category to be able to look at that, it's phenomenal. We've got expert from one of the world's best photography, Jerry, right? Gillis, right? He's on the platform. You're coming out, you want to practice your photography, and one of the co-founder, Bernie, he used to take photography for celebrity weddings and stuff like that. So when he goes to Vegas, he ran into Jerry, and that 30 seconds to get to see him was $500 for 30 seconds to look at his photo and stuff. And he gave him some feedback, and he used that up to today. And guess who's on the platform? Jerry, my man, right? Because he understands the value of feedback and improvement and mentorship. A lot of the experts says, this is brilliant. It's masterclass meet cameo in a TikTok world. We want to cut out the middleness, right? We want to give it to you straight. Because yes, you're going to learn from YouTube, and you can. Yes, you're going to learn reading a book, and you're supposed to read a book. But our young generation, they don't want to do all that stuff. They want to bypass a lot of that stuff, right? They want it in, they want it out, they want it hot. So we're able to deliver that to them now by cutting out a lot of the pieces and give them straight to the point, right? Which is, it's a new form of learning and a new space. But the most important, that's brilliant about it, it's personalized. It's how can I improve? How can I get better? How can I change the world? And a lot of people, especially in the sports, they'll probably buy it for them kids and grandkids and different things. But all the other areas of the industry and the category, they're buying it for more personal growth and personal usage of improving and getting better with the photography, the cooking, the acting, the voiceover, the app that you develop in your business pitch, your resume, and the resume is blown up, by the way, in that category. Oh, it's phenomenal. Husafa, he's been in the tech industry, sales, and he hasn't had a job in about 6 months, right? He says, Robert, I need some help. I'm like, go up here and book someone. They cleaned up his resume for him, break it down. He went and fixed it. Within a matter of 2 weeks from there, he had 6 interviews. 2 weeks after that, he accepted, he had 2 offers he accepted for a 6-figure deal. And he's like, this is brilliant. Why didn't I use this long time ago? I said, we didn't have it long time ago, my friend. It just came out, right? So that's how we continue changing the world. And I get goosebumps when I hear testimonial and see things are happening, because it validates it's a need and it's somewhere people want to continue to learn. And we're in the right path of leaving a legacy that could change the entire world within 3 years or less.
Wonderful, wonderful. Generally, people are known to not receive feedback very positively, but I'm sure this feedback from Critiq, they wouldn't mind.
Well, the
So
great thing
how
about one who use Critiq, they want to be on Critiq and they want to be critiqued. All right. So, and it's about learning and developing. So the people all use it. They don't have a problem because that's what it's about. And, I always say to this singer, I said, imagine Drake may not be on there, right? But guess what? His producers could be on there. His different people could be on there. And guess what? They're the one that's signing you to the label. And they have a value, right? Because those are the people in the sense I want. Because now they can see it and be discovered and say, oh, this guy is going to be big. You know what? Let's sign him before someone else. They get a sneak peek at that as early, right? So it's a great, I love the platform. Everyone love the platform. You're going to love the platform. Audience, go try it out. Love the platform. We'll give you a discount. There's a live person, tell them I love to use it. Give me a discount.
Right. I saw some of the ads down there, and I loved them. But for the audience, what are the use cases? Who are the type of people who can use Critiq? Why?
Everyone can use Critiq. You go in and you browse your category. I said we've got about 29 different categories. Sports is always popular because I'm a sports guy. That's my background. So we're at the moment we were heavy-handed when we started, but once again we're getting CEOs. Resumes is another top one that's moving quickly, and the pictures, photography. Those are some of the hot industry at the moment, and we haven't advertised, by the way. We haven't started advertisement yet. So these are just testing and generic from their own audiences that they have on social media, that do a couple posts, and we've seen the benefits from the small sample size. So as we just locking down and fine tuning, everything's ready to go for marketing. We're just finishing our raise, and once we're finished there, then we're going to advertise, and you'll see us everywhere all over the globe very quickly. Once again, it's just like coming out the blocks. Things are set. We're in the set position. The gun's about to fire. All right, we'll hit, and then we just. I'll give you a side view too. Oh, right? But just keep going,
Right.
and changing lives.
Absolutely. Keep going and changing lives. How then people can connect with you for any of the things, or so many of the things that you do, including being positively critiqued?
Any personalized feedback, once again, go to Critiq.com. They help you with sales, business, name it. Go on over there. If you want to find me in there, /Robert Esmie. And that's my handle, Critiq.com/Robert Esmie. I deal with biomechanics, the gait analysis. I deal with sales. You having challenges of closing a sale? Come see me, man. I'm a closer, baby. I'm a closer, right? And anything sprinting in the athletic world, you want to run the fastest 40 in the planet. I run a 3.7. I'm still one of the fastest 50-meter of all time in the world out there. So come and see the speed doctor. I'll make you move so fast you catch a cold, baby. Come see the man. If you want speaking engagement, robertesmie.com. I love touching the stage. When I hit it, everyone in that audience feels like I'm talking to them personally. I have that ability. I'm very entertaining. I'm going to get the swag. I'm going to get the whole place jumping. As I said, when I walk in, energy. Everybody going, even the CEO going to be, what? Having a good time. It's important to deliver a message, wrap that up in a great entertainment so everyone can feel like, hey, this is the best speech I've ever heard, right? And that's how I like it. And I leave them 2 minutes after because, some of them like the smoke break. So you give them 2 minutes to go have a smoke break. You're even bigger than me, than usual. And then for the athletic world, airblastoff.com. I help people. I want to help them to reach their athletic goal. So I develop athletes from all sport. That's why I'm the speed doctor. Need for speed. I'm fascinated about it. If you got a certain height, I don't see restrictions. Speed comes in all shapes, sizes, abilities. 747 jumbo jet, move fast. If you're a larger person, don't worry. I've got a formula for that. If you're skinny, I got a formula for that. If you're medium size, I got a formula for that. I am the speed doctor. You go to McDonald's for Big Mac. You go to Burger King for Whopper. You come see me for speed. SPEED, folks. Holler at your boy.
Wonderful.
If you need to learn how to do podcasts, don't call me. Go see my man over there.
Thank you. Right. My last question to you, Robert, is to the speed doctor.
Yeah.
What is life? Is it a relay race? Is it a marathon? Or is it best if we walk and enjoy it? How do you see that? Second is that what is it that you seek now? You have achieved almost all the things that you said at the beginning. What is it that you seek for yourself now?
So it's a combination of life now is like a marathon where I walk, run, jog, sprint. There's going to be different pieces that you're up and down, hilly, down. But I feel I'm at the age now because I had 3-part, 25 and under, 50 and under, and we're going into the next 25. The next 25 was to leave that legacy. The legacy of if I can help someone per day. I've always thought about that as a child. My day, as a child growing up, if I can smile and put a smile on someone's face, it's good. I've always believed in giving back and helping. Now, as my world get busy, I still try to find balance and to make sure, family life is good, giving back to my community is good, and business aspect is good. So as I leave this world, in a sense, over the next 25 years before I go right off into the sun, is to be able to continue to help others, but I want to do it in a global space. I want to utilize technology. I want to utilize people's brains. I want to disrupt and fill a gap that is not out there. And with the Critiq, I'm very confident and blessed. That's the legacy I will leave behind to help the rest of the world. So that part is on its path. Now I want to see the growth and the vision of where it needs to be at, and knowing that we can achieve that 3 to 5 years from now, it's going to be very rewarding, where now I can go into the sun and go put my feet in the sand and go spend time with my partner, and maybe go into salt water and just and travel a little bit more and go into areas where I'm scared to go because I don't like to fly long trips anymore. But definitely I will put on my bucket list. I'm coming to see you in India, man. Right? We're going to have some good food because I love to cook food and eat. We're going to have some good food, some good laughs, and meet the Indian community. Because in Vancouver, I work with a lot of the Indian community and athletic, and they've got a great talent. And I want to be able to go down and see them and hug them and have more conversation, because I believe speed comes in all shape, colors, and size. And I want to see more of my Indian family on the international stage athletically, because they have some base, but it needs the right person to let them know you've got the vision and the talent. Let's develop you over time, right? I'm in Sudbury, so I have more Caucasian. So when I go down to areas that have more the faster color people, and I come in with my snowflakes, and we just, they're like, where they coming from? I'm like, yeah, from the mining town, baby. We're coming, and we've got a good foundation up there. They got the speed doctor. So I've always fascinated and enjoyed with the speed, and I want to see that even more on a global stage. I want to see a final with 8 different nationality and different colors in that finals. And that's hopefully one day I can, within the next 25 years, I can manufacture that. When they walk into a championships, they see 8 different colors, 8 different abilities, and not all Nike shoes or Adidas shoes. Right? So that's the part of the long-term vision.
Wonderful. On this note, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
That's right. Masterclass, baby. Masterclass. The real masterclass. Please stand up. Awesome.
Awesome.